Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. We are on hold for a couple of weeks on our regular game, so we're running a 2-shot, or maybe a 3-shot. We'll see how it goes. This game is technically a Delta Green, but it was originally written for Call of Cthulhu, so we're going to run it with 7th edition rules. Our scenario is Night Floors. It was written by Dennis Detweiler, and it's available as part of a Delta Green source book entitled Countdown. You can find it on RPG. Our game master is Matthew Sanderson, and this is episode 1. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Matthew?
Right, thank you very much, Tom. So, it is the early hours of Monday, August the 10th, 1998, and your various locations, you will receive a phone call. It's a bit late in the evening for someone to be calling you, so this is, as all of you are connected with the FBI, this sounds like it's going to be a work call. Picking up the phone, you all hear a automated message which informs you, you are cordially invited to a night at the opera. Arrangements have been made for you to meet your escort at Stamford Station, Connecticut. Be seeing you. And then the phone goes dead. So, we cut to the car park lot outside Stamford Station. It's about 1 a.m. It's pretty quiet. There's still the kind of hustle and bustle of the city around you. Only a few cars out here, but as you pull up by either taxi or bringing your own car, you gradually notice some familiar faces around you as the other members of Cell S. We'll do a quick round robin if people want to introduce themselves, kind of how they're dressed, how they're acting, how they turn up, and we'll go from there. So start with Tom.
Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening? Looks like we've got one of our, since it's all of you, you probably remember, I'm really on the forgery team. I detect forgeries, artwork, money, whatever. Usually when stuff is recovered, we test to see if it's real. Not sure why I got called for this mission, but obviously there's some reason. How you doing, Martin?
Hey, Hopper. Hey, not bad. Yeah, I remember you from the Human Resources meeting, I think, a while back. But yeah, I'm still with the political theory mathematician unit, studying anti-terrorist connections and funding, just tracking down all of their keeping me plenty busy right now.
Definitely corruption everywhere.
Yeah, but making good progress though. I'm grinding away, but I need to unplug, I think, pretty soon. I've been behind that computer a bit too long. Hey, like. Leon, you here too?
Yeah. So obviously you guys know I deal with the psychoanalysis type stuff, but my main thing is hostage negotiation. Normally they send me in some situations where I need to talk some people down, that kind of thing. So I'm the people's guy. I got the mouth on me, which you've all been on the receiving end of, I'm sure. Beverly, good to see you.
Yeah, you'll better know who I am, since I recruited all of you. Look,
I can't believe that you still smoke, Beverly, and you're in the FBI.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to do something to take the edge off. Maybe you should try it sometime, LeGrand.
No. My body is a temple.
Well, your temple is decaying every day.
I can still pass all the physicals.
Well, so can I.
How about the mentals? How you guys doing on those?
Mr. Sampson, how are you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight? I guess you're gonna need me too. Sinclair, Sin for short, 6'2", average build. As you know, I'm the forensic science and pharmacology, and also pretty good at first aid. Patched a couple of you guys up in the past. Try not to get hit this time.
Yeah,
and
I owe you a bear for that one, Samson.
No worries. You need a little something to stay up, I got you.
We got anti-terrorist and psychologist and negotiator. I wonder if there's some sort of hostage thing going on here.
Well, I mean, we just got to wait for Marcus to tell us what's what.
Yeah. Where is he?
I have a feeling we're not called here because our particular day job specialities.
We'll see.
On that note, one of the attendants or one of the kind of train track attendants comes outside wearing a high-vis jacket, looks around, spots you, and says, kind of gestures, waving his hand all around to encompass all 5 of you. Party for the opera?
Yep, that's us.
Right, you like to follow me, gentlemen and ladies? Right, leads you through the station and takes you through, handing tickets to you that show you're on the next train to Penn Station, so in central Manhattan, and shows you through. Says you'll be wanting the 3rd carriage from the front. I understand that's the carriage that's been booked for your party.
Thank you very much.
Much obliged.
Okay. And he kind of wanders away and just says, "Yep, be seeing you," and wanders off into the dark. And a few minutes later, the train pulls up. Bear in mind, as it's so late at night, there's not many people on board. In fact, it's almost a ghost train. There's very, very few people there. The 3rd carriage from the front, there is only one occupant, a man that you've only met a handful of times, but a representative from Cell M, Agent Marcus. Normally, he is a fairly paranoid individual, and so having a meeting like this in somewhere that's on the move, less chance of being bugged, etc., this is very much his style of how he would contact you. So getting on the train and then waiting for the whistle to blow, and it moves on fairly smoothly. It's almost eerie as you can see lights rushing past outside. Otherwise, it just being dark, the carriage swaying gently, and the one other, say, occupant, Marcus, of the carriage just gestures for you to come over to sit in an area where you're effectively taking up a row of seats on either side of the carriage, seats facing each other with a table between you.
All right, what's up, Marcus?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Beverly.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know it's quite late in the day.
Yeah. Your general paranoia, you choose the train, but now we're going to have to talk kind of loud to hear each other.
I've already swept. There's nothing here.
All right.
Right. I might as well cut to it. I mean, we've got a little while before we arrive at Penn, but I can give you all the details now. This is actually going to be a bit of a day job for you folks. I would have taken this on myself, but unfortunately I can't get away from the cases I'm working on. So I'm delegating this to yourselves. I've pulled a few strings to get you assigned, but this is a federal case that you're being assigned to. It could be a kidnapping. We don't know. It's, at the minute, classified as a missing person, but it's gone and crossed over the state line, so it becomes a federal case. Missing girl called Abigail Laura Wright. Her father, Thomas Wright, works in Nassau County in New York State. He's, say, a police officer with connections in the NYPD. Abigail had been living in New York, in Manhattan, for some time, pre-94, from what we can tell. She hasn't got any record as far as we can tell. Her only thing that's cropped up on any kind of official radar is that she reported a mugging back in '94. It's still unsolved, but otherwise, she's a commercial illustrator and artist. Nothing that flags on any radars, nothing that sends up any warning bells or alarms. She's just disappeared. Now, she went missing back in June. Her father had been trying to get in contact with her for 4 days before he finally took the trip into down to Manhattan to go to her apartment. On June 4th, he had a set of keys. He opened up the apartment, and yeah, it's a scene. Her room, or I say her apartment, the walls, the floor have all been covered in a tremendous amount of junk. There's everything from radios, typewriters, wheelchairs, prosthetic arms, shitload of stuff which has been put up on, just glued on the wall in some kind of weird tableau. I mean, she's an artist. This could be some kind of arty thing that she's doing, but we'll get to where we think this fits in a minute. The NYPD started looking into it. They interviewed all the other members of the apartment block. It's a place called the McAllister Building. It's down on East 32nd Street near Lexington Avenue. It's an old building. It's quite distinctive. You won't miss it. It's got a fake portcullis above the front door and a load of very cheap concrete gargoyles looking down at you from the roof. So you won't miss it. The beat police went around and had a word with the other occupants of the building. As far as they was concerned, they didn't even know she'd gone anywhere, that she'd been keeping herself to herself. Basically, the NYPD hit a stone wall. There was nothing, no leads, no indication of what could have happened to her, no enemies, no evidence, nothing. They did some preliminary investigation of all the stuff that was stuck to the wall, but they basically gave up halfway through, or I doubt they even got halfway through cataloguing everything that was up there. They apparently tried to remove some of the radios that were stuck to the wall and basically broke the plastic casing on it. So, professionals. Mm-hmm. It turned federal on August 4th when Abigail's credit card was used in Patience, Maryland to purchase a pack of old gold cigarettes at a gas station. So it flagged with us on the central computer, and the FBI office in New York then got involved. They've run into pretty much exactly the same problems that the NYPD did. There is nothing to indicate where she's gone.
You said the card was used on June 4th?
August 4th. She was reported missing on June 4th. Then the investigation stalled a few weeks later. Then the card got used on August 4th, and that's what brought the FBI in. But as I said, the local office have hit a stumbling block. They can't find anything that would indicate her going out there. Obviously, we've pulled the receipts from the gas station. It's definitely her card that was used, but the signature on the receipt is not her signature.
Do we have any camera or anything in the store where it was used? No CCTV
at the gas station at all.
She was reported missing on June 4th. When was she last seen prior to that? Work, friends, anyone?
4 days beforehand. The gentleman across the hall from her, he starts looking at his notes.
So June 1st?
Yeah. June 1st, May 30th. That would be Mr. Thomas Manuel apparently saw her that night. So 4 days before she was reported missing.
And he lives at the McAllister building?
He lives in the apartment directly opposite her apartment, yes.
On May 31st, okay.
So that was Thomas, what was his last name again?
Manuel.
Now, what makes this case so intriguing? Why do they think she's kidnapped? An artsy-fartsy girl probably met a guy and took off for a month.
Charles. Obviously, there's going to be some twist to this story before we... they're not going to call us in because some girl's gone missing. What's up?
Yeah, it also helps that that her dad, has connections within the NYPD. That means that, he's going to be riding everyone's fucking ass.
We got to get to the... Yeah. We got to get to the supernatural element here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, he grins at this. Says, yes, as I said, we've got various hypotheses of how the card could have got up to Maryland. That's going to be something that obviously the Maryland branch are going to be looking into. That's in their turf. We're looking at the kind of the point of origin, trying to find out what happened at ground zero. One of our FBI agents, Sandra Levinson, who works out at the New York office, was assigned to do some preliminary looking around Abigail's room and trying to find if there was any clue amongst all the shit that had been glued up on her wall to see if there was, say, any leads that she could get as to where Abigail might have gone. Amongst some of the papers, she found some very odd scrawling. It basically hands you a piece of paper that's got all of these symbols along with their associated meanings underneath them. So these were found scattered around the room at, we hazard to use the word regular intervals, but they were at least almost forming a pattern where they were positioned around the room, almost like points of a clock, and then overhead. All written in ballpoint biro.
Ballpoint, just written on the. This looks like silly astrology shit. You know,
Yeah.
New age silliness. I mean, lots of those are astrological symbols I recognize, you know, for Mercury and for the certain planets and alchemical stuff.
Is there any reporting on to the distribution and location of these symbols? You mentioned that there was some sort of regularity or pattern.
We'll have to go look.
I hazard to say regularity because they weren't exactly regular around the room, but they circled the room and went across the roof. And there are a lot of papers that are stuck to the wall, and amongst these really random items that she's collected. I mean, where she got a prosthetic leg from, I don't know, but she managed to glue it to the back of her door.
Well, all of these come off the periodic table. This isn't horoscope stuff. These are.
Yeah, they're chemicals. It's it's alchemy. It says right on the alcohol.
Look, she was collecting things to put on her wall, and felt the need to include quite a number of these symbols.
I'd like to see what it looks like when we get there.
Yeah.
She doesn't just do that for no reason and then disappear.
Well, she is an artist, so artists are weird. Believe me, I know.
All right, Shah. Well, I hope we show up and there's nothing to worry about.
Well, that's what we all hope, isn't it? Every time we go on one of these things.
Well, it's mainly this occult or alchemical angle that's brought it to my attention. Like I said, I'd be planning on going down there myself and doing a detailed analysis of what's there, but I simply can't pull myself away from the job I'm working on.
Well, ACEL obviously thinks there's something to it, so
yes.
Yeah.
So the primary objective then for your assignment is to go and examine all the items in the room, catalogue anything that's there, and try and find if there is a lead that explains where she's gone. And then we can filter it to back. If it's just mundane, perfect. If it's not, then it's time to sanitize any reports that go further up to try and find out where she's got to.
I'm assuming we're given the all clear to re-interview the other inhabitants of the building and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, if you need to, definitely.
Treat it like a genuine investigation.
We're FBI, so yeah. Why not?
Yeah, this is a genuine op. The local office has been informed that you've been rotated here as experts to have a look at this stuff. There is a lot to catalogue, and I think they are quite relieved that it's not one of them that has to go through it, because there's a lot of stuff in that room.
Do we have any friendlies we can work with?
Levinson, she is. She's not an agent herself. She is a friendly. Yeah. So if you do need someone from the local office, she's the best person to get in touch with.
All right. Yeah.
Otherwise, if you need me, it better be for something important. Otherwise, go through Levinson. She'll be the best point of call. It won't ring as many bells you contacting her as it would be contacting me for this.
Of course.
But otherwise, there's no, as far as we can tell, there's no time limit on this because she's been missing already for a good couple of months. It's just get cracking and hopefully find something.
Did someone go out and interview the guy at the service station?
Yeah. he was given a photo of Abigail and didn't pick her out, saying that he didn't recognise her. But then so many people come through that area that he might have seen them, he might not have. He didn't think he did. He certainly didn't remember anything unusual about the purchase. It was a packet of cigarettes, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, that probably happens every bloody day, you know.
Every hour.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I got no more questions, I guess.
All right. We're almost at Penn Station.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He pretty much gets up at that point. He leaves you with the sheet with the symbols on it. Say that's for your copies.
That's what I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll be seeing you, gentlemen and lady. Good luck.
What time is? Oh, it's in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah. You're probably rolling into Penn at about 2 a.m. or maybe even less before that. Because Stamford's the next big station before you get to Penn, so it's basically doing one hop.
So, what do y'all think? Should we get over there in the middle of the night, or do we need to go back and? It's a day job.
It's not like we have a hotel room.
My bad. So that's one thing you would mention. As far as the local office are concerned, you are scheduled to begin tomorrow morning. They're expecting you to go to arrive at basically any point after about 9 or 10 tomorrow morning.
All right. So let's say 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Do we, gentlemen? Do we have a? Where's the nearest green box? What do we have?
There will be a green box located at basically a safe house in downtown Manhattan near Chinatown.
Okay.
So it's a small, as per most apartments in that part of New York, a very small, pretty much one bedroom apartment that will have basic equipment there.
Do we need any additional equipment or anything? We need to set up any kind of labs in the
forensic lab for Sinclair.
Marcus will say there'll be photographic equipment available at the green box, but also from the local FBI office anyway, because like I say, it's a sanctioned operation. Because they'll be wanting you to photograph and document everything as you catalogue all of the items in the room.
Yeah, we want to. Let's avoid using any green box equipment as long as we can, as long as we're on official.
Well,
distance.
it's only there in case we need it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we can just go back home.
Yeah.
Where should we meet in the morning? We need a rendezvous point in case something goes horribly wrong.
The green box.
We could use that. Yeah. Okay. That'll be our rendezvous point. We just don't want to compromise it. Remember if we're followed. I don't know how tactically sound it is. You want something that we can pick off the enemy if they're heading towards us.
There's a great little restaurant called Wool Hops down in Chinatown. It's in the basement down at the flight of stairs. We could meet there.
Yeah, but then we're stuck in a basement, and there's a couple of problems about an ambush in a basement. First, you're in a fucking basement.
There's a warehouse. There's a warehouse on 17th Street. I'm pretty sure it's abandoned. We could rendezvous there. It's 2 stories high. We could put up a, if we have to do it, whoever gets there first can go up onto the roof and keep an eye out in case anybody's chasing after us and pick them off.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
As long as there's plenty of exits and.
Oh yeah, there's lots of places you can run. 17th Street. All right. Good night, folks. Let's head on back.
Good night, all.
Okay. In which case, fade to black and then fade in the next morning. So nothing eventful happens that night. You spend it as you wish, and then can get together. Sounds like you're getting together at 17th Street first, and then heading on over to East 32nd Street. Or are you heading anywhere before you head to the building?
I think we need to see it before we know what to do yet. But here on 17th Street, there's there, over there. There's the stairs going up to the access panel. I broke it open so we can get up there if we need to.
Well, let's at least stop by the box, take inventory of what's there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We've still got some time. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep, you head down to Chinatown. The green box is, like I said, in a small apartment. The door leads into a corridor which goes down pretty much the length of the building, and then it's a very tight staircase heading up 3 floors, where you can tell this is evidently behind commercial property. You've got pretty much restaurants at the front, and then this very small row of apartments tucked around the back of the building. There's boxes in the corridors, in the stairwells as well, so you're having to weave around things. There's a crate full of durian there, which stinks to high heaven.
Oh.
Smells like an open sewer. But you get to this nice green painted door when you get up to the top floor, onto the 3rd floor rather, that you have the key to open thanks to Marcus. And heading inside, it's a pretty bare apartment. Taking inventory of the stuff, it's mostly packed away in cupboards and crates. Mostly seems to be armaments and regular equipment. There's nothing here that really strikes you as being odd.
Right.
So this is quite a practical green box.
We've got additional weapons. We got what is it? Bulletproof vests, maybe.
Yeah, flat jackets. There's one set of IR goggles that's here. You've got things like tactical flashbangs, smoke bombs, small semi-automatic weaponry. I'll ask for a group luck roll to see if you get anything particularly heavy. So that would be Mr. 15, I understand.
Thanks, guys.
Do they have snacks?
Find out in a second.
Oh, I got a 10.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
That'll be the last time I pass.
That'll be the last one, yeah.
So look, not only do they have, there's a couple of blocks of C4 and 2 detonators. There's a handful of grenades, we'll say 5. But also you do find a well-stocked drinks and snacks cabinet. So there are plenty of things like warm-up popcorn. There's a big can of Folgers coffee. And it's in date still, so it looks like someone's definitely been here. But yeah, you are fully stocked up.
I'm guessing the grenades are more like concussion and flashbang, but not frag.
No, they're anti-personnel. So you've got flashbangs, you've got smoke bombs, and regular anti-personnel grenades.
Okay.
Not ones that blow up a room, but would definitely fuck someone up if it went.
Mostly concussion, then probably. Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got what we need in case.
Was there photography equipment?
Yeah, there can be there because it's standard. So you'll find that there's various things like Polaroids. I'm pretty sure digital cameras, at least got the first generation of them around in 98.
Yeah,
so,
they were big clunky things, but yeah.
But I definitely want to grab a Polaroid and quite a few packs of film.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there might be a backpack there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You even find things like a couple of lead-line boxes as well if you were to have anything radioactive that would come back, that you could put them in safe storage. So there is plenty of storage equipment here as well.
Is there a radiation detection thing?
The Geiger counter.
Yeah.
You passed your luck roll. Yes, there will be a Geiger counter there as well.
Okay, we'll probably chuck that in the car with us just in case anyway.
And if there's a telescoping baton, I'll take.
Oh, you can definitely
clip it to my belt so I have it.
Yep, no problem on there.
So I'll grab a spare digital camera and a taser.
Mm-hmm. Yep, stun gun not an issue with.
Well, since I don't want to raise any questions about why these group of people show up for this heavily armed, I'm not going to take anything.
No.
Same. I try to use my I talk before I shoot.
We have to be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
We're not going with anything. We're not there with heavy arms.
Just a taser. It's pretty small.
No, just keep it hidden. We're expecting to just walk in there and look around.
Yeah, FBI in New York City, you'd be walking around armed.
You'd normally have your sidearm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a sidearm.
Yeah.
So has everyone driven over here in their own cars, or is it just me?
You're in New York, taxis, with subway.
We took subway and taxis.
Yeah, if you drove here, we'll see you in like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We took
exactly.
our own cars.
Go find a place to park.
Let's head on over to 32nd Street.
Okay.
Okay. So, as you said, getting taxi is the easiest way to get across town. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a walk.
Yeah.
I remember going to New York and then walking all that way.
You should definitely take a taxi. It should probably leave the radiation device behind.
Yeah, well, that's why
It's
I
a little
was gonna take my
weird
own
to
car
bring.
we could have our own equipment in the back of the car, but you guys want to take a taxi, so we'll leave all of our tools.
It would be a suitcase. It's not like it would be.
Geiger counter's about that big.
Yeah,
has a big
Duffel
thing,
bag.
but it's not flat. It's
right.
wide.
And why would we? What I mean,
We
in
don't have
case
any
of
reason.
what? If
It's all right,
if
it's
there's
all right.
something
I've
radioactive in
lifted
there,
at the apartment. I've lifted it.
people would be dying in that apartment block if there was something radioactive.
People
there.
might be, but
Yeah,
why are
they
we going
might
to
be.
worry about it? There also might be horrible, horrible diseases, but we're not taking all that equipment with us.
Uh-huh.
Let's just go.
All right.
So you get across town with relative ease. It's New York traffic. It's hell pretty much any time of day. And you pull up outside the building, the McAllister building, as it's called.
Mhm.
And indeed, it is pretty unmistakable given all the other buildings around it. It looks like a castle from the outside. There's this, as Marcus mentioned, a fake portcullis hung above the front door, ramparts, and these quite badly weathered, very cheap concrete gargoyles looking down at you from the roof line.
About how tall?
3 stories.
3 stories. Very tall.
And this is pretty cute.
And what floors is her apartment on? Abigail's.
She is right through the front door. There is, as far as you've been told, which obviously room Abigail's is. It's on the first floor, so ground floor, and then it's the first door on your left when you go in. In fact, one of the things that Marcus would have given you as well, actually, is the layout of the building, so that you know who to talk to, who is where, and such. So,
Does the building have CCTV?
hell no.
It's too old, but
I'm
it
going
looks
to
like it was
Polaroid of the
That's-
gargoyles before we go in.
that sort of medieval revival nonsense. Everybody wants to live in King Arthur's castle.
Yeah,
Thanks to Richard Burton and was it
definitely
Julia
a
Roberts, was it?
gaudy-looking place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was built in the 20s, you think. The building is fairly big by New York standards, given that looking outside the front and then thinking, well, that's one side, that's the other, giving you an idea of scale. These apartments are fairly big but definitely by New York standards. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like quite a few unoccupied apartments, entire top second floor.
Yep, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 other people living in the building.
That's weird.
Yeah, the
I got-
entirety
yeah.
of the top floor is unoccupied.
I got the side wrong. Abigail is on the right as you go in through the door, not the left.
Okay. So it's a fairly run-down place too. So yeah, it's not surprising. It's
And the apartments
a
looks
lot
like
of people.
they're pretty, average size.
boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty standard. Well, I think, we should probably check out all the unoccupied apartments as well.
Well, let's just check out the
Yeah.
one apartment.
Yeah.
Is there like police tape?
Nope.
So that,
Well, not on the outside. When you go in, that'll be a different issue.
okay. I was just surprised that the landlords haven't come in here and wanted to clean the place up, but maybe not.
Mm.
I agree with you, Leon, that after Abigail's, we should check out the unoccupied.
What are you hoping to find in the unoccupied?
I'm
You
not
never-
sure.
We don't know, but
It's-
why not check it?
Yeah, no one else has found her, and it's a big mystery. So
If
it's
she
time
has
to
been
start.
kidnapped, maybe
You
she
know-
got put in one of the unoccupied rooms.
You don't think the police did that already?
Probably not, because we ourselves are questioning whether we should do it or not. I think this is, just briefly, nothing heavy.
We are here on official business. Going and just poking around rooms willy-nilly is not in our...
How
I was just to say we don't have
How is
keys
checking
to
the
the rooms.
unoccupied rooms?
We don't
No,
have keys to the
um,
unoccupied rooms.
Yeah, we can get off the landlord. We're saying, look, potentially she's been kidnapped. We need to search the rest of the unoccupied rooms. How is that not, like, I don't understand how that's not standard procedure for you guys.
Because she's been gone for 2 months, Graves. 2 months.
So, as Martin was saying as well, the cops probably didn't check it properly. They might have missed some. There could be clues in those rooms.
Maybe we were only told that they talked to every occupant of the building.
Yeah.
That would imply that they went
entire floor up the top where there's no one. It'd be a perfect place to hide a body.
Gentlemen, as I understand it, we're not here necessarily to find a girl.
No, but that's what the pretense we're going to keep up, that we are.
Right.
Well, we're here to help them.
We're here to find out
catalog things, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Focus is on Abigail's apartment.
So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
There might not be nothing.
Let's focus on the task we have at hand, and then go from there. Making elaborate plans about going through all the unoccupied rooms, scanning for radiation, taking samples of everything. Let's find out what we're up against first.
You know, Agent Clark, I don't think you're supposed to be smoking in here. There's that big sign on the wall.
I walk in and head towards the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You head inside. The first room that you come to, which you pretty much go straight through very quickly, is this nice marble-floored entrance foyer. There's mailboxes on either side, which have the names of the different people in there, which say correspond to the handout. So you know that people where you've been told they're living, that's where their mailboxes are saying they live as well. There's a few little leaflets around here, things that would very much imply student accommodation. There's lots of like pizza leaflets, flyers, local restaurants, free newspaper circulars, the kind of normal stuff that you'd find in a little foyer entrance. Inside, the main corridor gives a sense that this place is a bit run down. Way back in the day, it would have been quite nice, you think. There's a nice burgundy carpet which runs along the hall. Certain fixtures here probably were mahogany. Some bits of it remain, other bits have been gradually fallen into disrepair and then being replaced with cheaper wood. You can hear the sound of a TV playing somewhere, probably from one of the other occupied apartments on this floor. And just as you're kind of heading into the corridor to step on the carpet, you think you hear what sounds like a dog. Definitely you hear and sound of feet bounding away. Sounds like they're on the staircase and then heading up, but out of sight from where you are at the minute. And across the front of Abigail's apartment, there is indeed the police tape saying crime scene, and it's crossed over.
You can duck underneath it.
Yeah, we'll duck underneath the tape.
Okay. Right, you open up the door without any issue, and inside, yeah, it's special. You've not seen anything like this, at least in real life. This is more something that you would expect in sort of fantasy artwork or case studies of someone with mental issues. The room smells as well like discarded waste. So it's damp, it's musty. You're fairly sure there's maybe even some faint hints of body odor or bodily fluids in here at some point. But it's just this chaotic tableau of random assortments of items. To give you a sample of things here, the sets of dentures, partial dentures, a 1940s wheelchair, modern and antique artificial limbs, dozens of shirts, shoes, briefcases, assorted radios spanning several decades, all manner of jewellery, earrings, rings, necklaces, and thousands of papers of all designs and ages. Doing a quick scan over them, some are in Spanish, others in Mandarin. There's even what you think might be something in Farsi. It's all glued to the wall with this cheap epoxy glue. So it can be torn down or scraped off if you want to try and keep it in, well, depending on what you're trying to pull down, keep it in some degree of intactness. But it's layer upon layer upon layer of all this random junk. And just looking at it and taking it all in on first instance, you think this is madness. There's no rhyme or reason to anything here.
I'm gonna snap a couple photos before people touch anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's evident signs that people have tried to pull stuff down here. You can see a couple of evidence tags that have been put up on the wall. One by evidently a broken bit of plastic, which is where Marcus said someone tried to take down a radio and ended up breaking the case on it because it's the part where it's still glued to the wall. They just snapped off.
Is there any organic material that perhaps Agent Sinclair with forensic specialty can determine how long it's been there?
Nothing organic. It is purely inorganic waste material. It looks like someone's gone through dumpsters loads of dumpsters, and just pulled up a whole manner of random miscellaneous shit and then glued it to the wall.
Do we see these alchemical symbols?
Give me a spot hidden and I'll see if you can see whereabouts they are.
That is a...
Yeah, this feels like some sort of mania to me. I don't
I
really
got
get
36 out of 60, so not just regular.
Yeah, you spot the one for, let's say, bismuth that you catch on one kind of one corner. It's on a sheet of paper that you see has evidently been crumpled up as if someone threw away a piece of waste paper into a bin. It's then been pulled back out, trying to be smoothed out, and then a quick scrawl of this symbol, and then it's being slapped on the wall.
Okay.
Do you point that out to us, Hopper?
Here's bismuth.
Okay,
Let's see if we can find the other symbols.
Well, we have something right here. I mean,
What?
this other stuff she's glued to the wall for whatever reason, but she drew the symbol herself.
Well, or somebody else did, but we think she did.
Otherwise,
I want to ask you all a question, and I'm going to move to the middle of the room, and I'm going to keep my eyes down.
You're looking at this horrible lino floor. It looks like the rug's been pulled up, and this is the bare lino that would be underneath before you get to floorboards.
When y'all look around at the walls, how does it make you feel? Anyone? Disturbed? Angry? Do you feel some strange emotion popping up in your head?
If you want to try to get me to call it art, I'm not going to go for it.
It's not art, but go ahead.
I guess I kind of feel sorry for the girl. If she's done all this, there's something she must be going through.
Yeah, this seems to be some kind of manic hoarding behavior.
Martin Sampson, you're not saying anything.
I'm getting the feeling of I feel challenged. It's a puzzle. I want to put this together, start analyzing it.
Sampson?
I've been thinking about this since last night, and I pull out a notebook. I want to go through all the stuff on the walls and match up their components to this alchemical list. I think this stuff is comprised of this list. I'm not so sure that there's bismuth on the wall. Something in here might contain. I'm going to go over to Martin and I'm going to look him in the eyes. Do I see anything unusual? Dilations, discolorations, or anything? Okay. Never mind. Should I make a forensics roll to see if I'll be able to match up the list to the components?
No, you don't need to worry about going into that level of detail. Doing a quick scan around the room, trying to find where these different symbols are, you will eventually find them because they are scrawled at roughly about the same height. They're all on the same kind of crumpled paper, but they are some of the last things that have been stuck to the wall, it seems. Everything around them, there is no rhyme, reason, or pattern that connects to anything to what's being scrawled on the paper. The items nearby don't correlate.
If I was to draw, if I got the outline of the apartment, and then I drew where each symbol has been drawn on the wall, like mark it out on the outline, what would that look like?
Roughly circular, in the sense it goes all the way around the room. They're not quite at precise, regular intervals. It's as if someone's guesstimated by, now I'm going to take another couple of steps this way, then I'm going to slap on the wall, then I'm going to take another couple of steps around, slap it on. Oh, I've met a corner, so I'll go one extra step, slap it on. One's on the door.
Yeah, so does
what I
the
wanna do
handwriting
is-
look the same?
Yeah, it looks like it's the same pen that's being used, this blue ballpoint pen.
Is there one slapped on the back of the door? Did you say?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tucked beside a artificial leg.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going from the door and moving right, so going clockwise. I'm going to mark out the order of what the symbols are around the room.
Are they in the order that they're on the piece of paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
So going left to right, top down.
Is there anything on the ceiling?
Oh, shitloads. There's still loads up there. You look up straight into a glass eyeball that's going to staring down at you. There's
prosthetic body parts. That's strange.
Where'd she get them? Where did she get all this shit?
Do we have a sampling of her writing, of Abigail's writing that's verified as her writing?
Yeah, they would have had a signature for various things. They would have pulled off records, like from the people who own the building, for when she signed her tenancy agreement and so forth. So yeah, you've got a signature, and you've got some.
And they had signatures to run against the credit card.
Yeah. So can we, looking at her writing through maybe her journals or any regular writing that's verified as hers, is this, are the symbols in her hand then, comparing that?
You would have to give me a roll for that, because it's going to be.
Or
it's not right. It's not writing. It's more scrawling.
This might be your field. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think I'll put that down to. You could either use psychology or, I'd say, artcraft forgery.
Yeah, I'll psych roll it. 35 is a hard pass.
Okay. There's definitely more to imply that it could be her than to say that it's not. So there's a good, if you were to put a percentage on it, like a good 70% chance it's her that's did it.
Yeah.
Do we have any? Sorry, no, Beverly, you were saying.
Well, I'm just gonna say, if they've all been done with the same pen, they've all looked like some recovered scrap of paper. So unless she frequents a dumpster to collect this junk, and there's a person walking by it constantly crumpling these symbols up and throwing away, I'm almost assured that this is her.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do we have any of her original art? Because she is an artist.
There's none in the room here.
We should maybe try and see if we can get some copies of her art, like her most recent art, and then like her previous stuff, to see if there's any change in what she's drawing and the style she's going with, and if this is the end result. You know? Right.
But this to me is not as important right now as what drove her to do it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So if we can find, I guess, a timeline of when the art started to change, we might pinpoint a little bit about what happened.
If there was a change.
This definitely, from what Marcus said, that he said that she was a commercial illustrator. This don't look like illustration.
No.
This is more like
this is not art. This is definitely obsession of some sort.
I want to go to the bathroom, check her medicine cabinet and refrigerator.
Yeah, see if she's on anything.
Okay. The medicine cabinet is completely empty. The bathroom, you have to turn the light on. See when you go inside. It's been stripped clean. There's nothing in here, even down to the toilet paper. It's all gone, and you think probably stuck up on the wall somewhere, as probably deep in the room.
I want to call Livingston. At the New York office.
You'll all have burner phones that you can use, so you can get in touch with her. It rings a handful of times, picks up to evidently a busy open plan office, and fairly normal response of, Special Agent Levinson, how can I help?
Livingston, this is Special Agent Beverly Clark. I'm here with my team to analyze the Abigail Lawrence Wright case.
Oh, yeah, the team that have been, I heard you got circled in. You pulled a short straw on that one.
I'm figuring that out right now.
Oh,
Listen,
you're down there.
Yeah, we're down here right now. I want if you're able to provide me a list, an accounting of everything that's been removed from the room. Anything like things in her medicine cabinet, anything taken off the wall, personal belongings, anything that has been removed from this location.
Yeah, not much. It's a very, very short list. We personally, when our team went down there, we didn't remove anything. The only things that we can account for that have been removed by the NYPD, and we've now got transferred to our evidence locker here, is a broken radio that they tried to pull off the wall and broke in the process, and a handful of newspapers. Oh, and a left shoe, sneaker. So no, not much at all.
All right. Was there any investigation into her mental state? As any medical records indicate that she's taking any drugs? Has she not missed doses of anything?
No, the only thing that we could find, if you, she starts flicking through some papers, you can hear at the other end. If you have a look over by her window, under the windowsill, you'll probably find a couple of plastic tubes for sleeping pills that she'd been prescribed. That's the only thing we could think we found in her drug cabinet, and the only thing that we could get found from a doctor that seems to be prescribed to her.
On the sleeping pills. Well, thank you, Agent Livingston. I'll be in touch.
Sure. Anytime you need me, I'll be here.
Yes, thank you.
And puts the phone down.
So a bit of info I've realized by looking over this and the symbols. This is alchemical. It's not the periodic table. Salt is not on the periodic table. Salt is a compound. All of the other things here are elements. I don't know if that makes salt special in this configuration.
Apart from being a standard alchemical symbol, it's in the same kind of ballpark as the rest of them.
It's alchemical. It's
not
back
chemistry.
in the day and age when people used to think that things were composed of fire, earth, water, and that sort of nonsense. All the other things are elements. Salt is the one thing on here that's not an element, at least not in the tradition, not in the modern sense.
Does Beverly relay the sleeping pill information?
I'm going to check that right now.
Okay, cool.
What information about the prescription? What is it? When was it issued? Last fill, dosage amount.
Doctor's name.
Right. The doctor is a Dr. Smith. It's a fairly... it's prescribed from a pharmacy that's nearby. You think probably about 2 blocks away from here. It dates back to... beginning of April.
This year?
Yeah, this year. There's nothing that implies that it's been refilled. And there are actually still some pills left in there. The bottle is about half full. So for some reason, she stopped taking them.
What is the bed situation in the room?
What bed?
Yeah, okay, so there's no, yeah.
Okay,
all the furniture is gone. Everything has been cleared out of this room, and then all this random junk has been stuck up on the wall. There's nothing that implies any kind of personal effects here. About the only thing that you could probably guesstimate would be a personal item would be that you can see there's a VCR stuck up on the wall. Maybe one of the radios, one of the more recent ones anyway, would have been hers. But otherwise, where did all her furniture go?
Yeah. So in the layout, it showed a closet. So I'd be assuming that it was a built-in closet.
Yes.
And it's just, again, similar situation. It's just filled with a bunch of crap. Basically, there's nothing.
Yeah, you can see that it's even stuff has been glued on the door. It is very slightly ajar, so it hasn't been closed when you go over there.
I'll go open up the closet.
Completely empty. Looks like there was clothes here at some point, but there's no hangers on. There's a rail, but there's no hangers left on it, and there's no clothes left on it.
But she hasn't
Everything
stuck anything on the inside of the closet though at all.
If anything, it looks like it's been cleaned.
Hey, guys, Charlie, you might want to have a look at this. So she stuck stuff on the front of the closet, but when you open it up, it's completely bare, and it's clean.
Well, what about there's the apartment itself. There's this area that isn't have stuff stuck to the wall. Does the bathroom have anything stuck to the wall?
Now, that's been cleared out because you went and had a look at the medicine cabinet. So there is the cabinet up on the wall. There's obviously the toilet seat remains there. There's the shower with a shower curtain, rather a bath with then... it's got one of those showers that you plug into the taps and then you just wave the shower head unit around.
Right.
And so it seems like to me that everything outside of this square is untouched by the mania.
Yeah.
Her sleeping pills. This seemed to be she had some form of insomnia. Took the pills occasionally. I mean, this was filled in April, and she disappeared June. So over those 2 months, she's only taken about half. So she's not taking them every night. This isn't really.
Or she took a lot in the beginning and just stopped taking them all.
Or she took a lot at the end.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know. Just she wasn't taking them consistently. This prescription should have ran out by the time.
The thing that worries me though, okay, I mean, looking around this place, there's a lot of crap in here, right? We've got wheelchairs, we've got all that sort of stuff. Then all of her furniture's gone. So if none of the neighbors heard or saw any furniture going out or wheelchairs or shit like that coming in, where the hell did this shit come from? And where did all of her furniture go?
Is there a window?
And why so much odd medical stuff?
Exactly.
Hey, look, Graves. Entry point and exit point there.
Yeah, but to move all this... How big is the window, though? Is the window big enough to move, like, a bed through?
Yeah, just about. You'd have to disassemble it, but if you took it apart, you could then feed the different parts of the bed through it.
Look out the window and look down. Is there?
And I mean,
on the first floor.
And I mean, if her neighbors are homebodies, then they might not see anything anyway.
Yeah, but they'd hear something.
They could do it in the middle of the night.
I can't imagine all these rooms are super soundproof. This kind of building. Paper thin walls.
Whoever's got the chemistry major here, they need to analyze that glue. Make sure it's glue. It looks almost epoxy-like super glue. That's a fucking lot of super glue. And super glue is expensive.
And glue can cause...
yeah, but the amount of glue this would take, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Elma's glue, but this doesn't look like Elma's glue.
And and she definitely didn't take a lot of pills before she started gluing things on the wall, because there's still pills in here, and it's been glued to the wall.
What if it's not
confirmed for me as well? The last time she was seen was the 1st of June, correct?
4 days before
May 31st.
Yeah, 31st.
Okay, and so when was the day that they discovered this room?
4th of June.
4th.
Okay,
yeah,
so
4 days.
The last time she was seen acting normal, whatever, was the 1st. And then this happened. So in the space of, we think, the 1st and the 4th.
No.
Well, she was seen. That doesn't mean they saw it here.
She was last seen May 31st. Her neighbor, I don't know where you're ascribing this normal attribute to, like she was last seen acting normal. I mean, the neighbor saw her. That doesn't mean she didn't have this mania.
We need to talk to her.
Ask the neighbor what he saw her doing.
Yeah, there's no way someone could have done this in 4 days. This is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah, like.
Gentlemen,
I kind of want to know how long it's taken her to do this.
I'm very curious, because the business we're in, what if this is not what we think it is? What if she did not glue anything to these walls, but they were glued to the walls by something. What is that glue? If she bought it at the store, we should be able to find that she bought $500 worth of super glue.
Can I take a
Or-
sampling of the glue, and is there any kind of tests I can run on that?
Yeah, you can do a fairly quick analysis, just checking to see what it reacts against and so on. And yeah, it looks like a cheap epoxy glue. So not quite super glue,
Right.
but it's cheap stuff. It's cheap but effective.
All
Something
right,
that
I don't want to. Before we start speculating about entities and things, here's what we know. She hasn't been seen since May 31st. Okay,
Right.
she could have disappeared any time between May 31st or that day of May 31st onward. Her credit card was used in Maryland
Yeah.
by someone who either isn't her or she's no longer using her own.
That was a month. That was August 4th that it was used.
Yeah, a
right.
month
So that was
later.
a couple of days ago. That was 2 months later.
Mm.
Her credit card.
And the
was-
signature was
two
not
months later.
hers, which means that somebody probably stole her credit card and
Right.
used it.
Yeah.
Which means
Well,
that her wallet. I mean, she is not
Somewhere.
here. Her wallet is probably not here either, given that her credit card is.
There are instances where there can be a struggle, a purse, wallet, whatever falls. If the assailant doesn't care about stealing from her, someone else could easily come by, anyone on the street, and go, "Oh, look, here's
Yeah,
the
but
wallet." Look.
as Beverly was saying, all of her personal belongings are gone. I mean,
Right.
some of them are stuck to the wall, but there's no clothes.
Yeah,
There's no furniture. It's not just her wallet and her bag that are missing. It's fucking everything.
yeah,
So it looks like
everything.
she'd done this and then skipped town.
Now, of course, we don't know timelines. She could have moved everything out first and then
Yeah.
started
Right.
the project. She could have been living or sleeping somewhere else entirely too. We just don't know.
So
Yeah.
We have a good lead that Legrand suggested. We can see to track down those glue purchases if they were done on card. If they're done in cash, we don't really have much to go on there. But if they were on her card, we could find out where she got all this glue from.
Exactly. And everything else. We could
Yeah.
find out, basically trace where she's been for the last 5 months.
And that would also let us see how much of this she purchased and how much she just dumpster dived for.
There's got to be some correlation between these objects. I noticed a lot of medical stuff, including a prosthetic eye, a prosthetic limb.
legs,
prosthetics.
wheelchairs.
So
that
is-
implies
But it's also
Is that-
antique prosthetic limbs and wheelchairs and stuff.
and old
Right.
things.
yeah.
So is there an antique shop near here that she went? Let's pull her credit card. See if there's an
Or a garage
antique,
sale type, I don't know. People
yeah,
sell
or medical supply warehouse, or a old hospital, an abandoned estate
a
sale.
dump.
Yeah, and see what the card purchased throughout the month of May might be a good.
Mm.
Do the things, let's say on a particular wall or an area of the wall, do they look like they come from the same time period? Like you see a 1920s phone and a 1920s radio and a 1920s. But then over here you see a 1970s and a 1970s and a 1970s.
I get where you're going. Give me an int roll.
I just used my int.
Mhm.
05.
Nice.
Yep, there is two main, or rather 3 main time periods that stuff seems to come from. One of them is the prosthetics are old, definitely. And you think they're actually date back to the kind of Edwardian period. So you'd think late 1800s, early 1900s.
Oh, wouldn't
Then you've got stuff from the 30s and going into the 40s, and then you've got stuff from the 70s. There's relatively little modern stuff here.
And are they grouped together in a certain way?
It's more like they're in bands. The oldest stuff is is closer to the ceiling, and then it gradually gets more modern as you go down.
So I point that out. The oldest stuff is towards the ceiling, and it gets more modern as we go down towards the ground. You see? We've got
Right.
100 years ago and, 50 years ago and 10 years ago or so.
Let's see. Do any of
20
you know
years
anything about occult shit? Do the alchemical symbols have anything to do with maybe time or aging?
The problem is that we've got both chemicals and we've got astrological that both fit in there, but not a complete set of any.
Did you mention?
I mean, she started with older stuff at the top and maybe has worked way down. She's run out of antiques from one period, has jumped to a new period, ran out of stuff from there.
She may not be finished.
Hmm.
I mean, this might be a work in progress.
As you are looking around, I'll count this as everyone can give me this. Trying to take in, especially as you're starting to see that there are some kind of patterns here. Everyone can give me a spot hidden roll, but I'm going to ask for a hard or better success.
42. What is a 42?
Yeah, 83 is
85.
Nope.
So no one succeeds?
Just a standard. And no way in heck am I going to use my 15 points of luck.
Oh, wait. How many points would I have to use?
That's a good point.
To get 30, 42. I'd have to use, 12 points.
You'd have to use almost Stu's entire luck pool to get a hard success.
That's to add insult to injury.
I would have to use 10 luck points.
Well, wait. Do we get luck back in this game?
Well, I normally do improvements for luck every session, so yes, you will, but it'd be standard.
Okay, I'll spend the 10 luck.
Okay. In which case, you're looking around, and I say there are thousands of objects that have been glued to the walls, but a lot of it is paper. And there's one particular piece of paper that catches your eye because it's written again in this ballpoint pen. You spot this. Looks like a receipt. Oh, as it says on it, receipt. So,
Abigail.
Hey, guys, come check this out. Looks like a
Here we go.
receipt for some Abigail, right?
$850 for her rent.
For July rent.
Yeah.
She went missing May 31st or early April.
good eye.
Why the hell is she paying rent in July?
And that's
Apartment
the second-
S10. Is that this? Is that this room? Or is it a different room?
S10, according to the layout of the building, the floors are marked A, B, and C, and it's A1 through 4, B1 through 4, C1 through 4. So she's in room A1.
And S10.
S10 would imply the basement, but how do they fit 10 rooms down there if it's
Well,
the
and
same?
is Tees? Oh, that's the paper product. Maybe this is for another apartment building.
Exactly. Yeah, this is probably for somewhere else.
The signature is also not hers, but the handwriting above it is.
Wait, they're paying her. Abigail Cartwright.
So she owns another apartment and they're paying someone else.
Do you
paying...
think?
Yeah, because she
Does this
wouldn't be
signature
writing up
match
the
the
receipt
credit card?
bill.
It's not her signature.
Hold on. Okay, so there's an issue of timing here. If she glued this to the wall, then there was already a receipt for payment in July. That
She was
glued
in
to
this
the wall.
apartment in July sometime.
Well, someone else was.
A
Well,
month after she went missing.
So either somebody came in here and glued it to the wall a month after she went missing,
Or she prepaid.
or somebody prepaid. This isn't her signature.
yeah, but you said the writing on the receipt, not
Is
the
hers.
signature, is her writing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
She
typic-
wrote that.
Yeah. So typically someone who's renting, paying the bill, would not be writing that. That would be something written by the person charging.
Not
Right.
the receipt.
Well, yeah, I write up the receipt for you paying me, and then
Exactly.
you sign it at the bottom to
Yeah.
prove that you paid
Well,
it.
maybe
So
that's
Abigail
maybe that's
is renting
exactly
some-
what it is.
But
Wait,
But
stop.
he wrote-
what if that's exactly what it was? She wrote the receipt because she's renting to somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Bingo.
she owns something, and she's renting something out to someone else. Does the signature match, like the handwriting or anything, match the person using the credit card?
No.
Okay.
This is a completely different signature.
Is there a basement to this building?
There is, yes.
All right. Hey, Graves, let's go check out some unoccupied rooms.
Okay.
See if we can't find S10.
Let's also, she could have snuck in here and stuck that on the wall.
So who's going to start cataloging all this crap?
Well, we'll get to that. We got all day.
Sinclair brought
tomorrow.
the camera, so.
And the
I
next
brought
day.
a camera too. Analytics. This is a puzzle. I'm on
All
it.
right, Charlie, Martin, start snapping away.
Okay, so I can keep track of who's going where. It sounds like Martin and Charles are staying in the room cataloguing, and then the other three are heading downstairs?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right, okay. We'll do downstairs first, and then we'll cut back to stuff happening in the room. You head out into the corridor. Again, you can hear a TV playing in one of the rooms. You think it's actually the one that's occupied at the end of the corridor. So that'll be the one with Mr. Curran in it, which one of you might recognise the name from your background. There's a little prod. Otherwise, you can head down to the end of the staircase, the end of the corridor, and you see the stairs going down. They're the ones on the left as you approach. You've got the back side of the staircase goes up, so following the exterior wall. You've got a closet on the right-hand side, and then you've got the stairway going down to the basement on the left. So it's a fairly wide staircase, goes down, it then curves round back on itself, and you're in the basement. Occupies pretty much the same footprint as the floor above. It's divided into 4 rooms that go off a central corridor. There are just 4, there's not 10, and they're all marked S1, S2, S3, and S4. The doors are locked, so when you go over to try and shake them, they are most certainly locked, so you haven't been given the keys to them.
I'm surprised there's not like laundry down here. Isn't this usually where you put
Is this
the
on the
laundry
floor
room?
plan?
No.
No, this is additional to the floor plan. It doesn't give it describes the basement, but it doesn't give you a floor plan of the basement.
We've got the name and all the information for the landlord here, right?
You haven't asked for it.
Yeah, who owns...
We can get it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just have to get it.
That would be like a call to Levinson. Would be able to give you. Would be able to get you that.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna call Livingston actually and ask if anyone checked down here anyway. So I'll give her a call.
Okay. Yep. She picks up. Yep. Special Agent Levinson. How can I help?
Hey, it's Special Agent Leon Graves here. I'm with Clark.
Oh,
Look, we've
okay.
just-
Down at the McAllister place.
Yeah, listen, we found a receipt stuck to the wall. It's got Abigail's handwriting, but then a different signature. And it seems to think she was renting something out. So it was for the July rent.
Give her all the
S10.
information. Just ask her about the rent.
So we're and I just wave at Hopper who's trying to talk. We're down in the basement to see if did you guys search down here?
Yeah, I mean, we had a brief look. There was some of Abigail's stuff. I think it was in S1. I think there are a couple of the other rooms down there are used as, they're basically storage that are used by some of the other the occupants. I think one guy says he mentioned he had an art studio in one of the rooms. I mean, it's an artist commune, so I mean, there's art shit all over the place.
Oh, okay. So all of these people are artists. Is that what you're saying?
Well, in one way or another, yeah.
Okay. Do we know who the landlord? We just need access to some of these. We want to check it out. Do a thorough check.
Yeah, I can give you a phone number to call. You can hear it.
That'd be perfect. Yep.
It's owned by a company called Art Life. They're down at the junction of 23rd and 3rd East.
Okay.
The person you want to speak to there is Cynthia LaChance. She's the kind of point of contact we had when we had to go and get keys to various places in the building. So she
Okay.
knows that obviously there's an investigation going on down there. So if you call up, she'll probably be as helpful as she was for us.
Okay, and you checked the unoccupied rooms upstairs as well?
Well, we knocked. There's no one there. We did a quick site search just to kind of open the door and have a look. But yeah, there's nothing in any of the rooms. They're bare unoccupied rooms.
Awesome. All right, thank you. I guess we'll be in touch if we need anything else.
Sure, no worries. And so you have then Cynthia's phone number if you want to give her a call.
Before I give her a call, I'm just going to fill the other guys in and say there's meant to be an art studio down here, and actually everyone who lives in the building is in some way an artist.
No,
There's some way related to art, and it sounds like the entire building is owned by a company called Art Life.
All right.
All right,
What was the woman's name?
Cynthia LaChance. This is her number.
Mhm.
You're our art guru, Hopper. Maybe you should, you know the lingo, you know the way through.
Lingo for what? We're looking for what? A key to S1?
Yeah, just
Well, key to all of them.
give me the phone.
Okay.
All right. I call.
Okay. Rings a handful of times and then picks up. Art Life, how can I help?
I may speak to Miss Cynthia LaChance, please.
Speaking.
Miss LaChance. This is Special Agent Hopper LeGrand from the FBI. We are over in your building, the one on 23rd Street, 32nd Street, 32nd Street. We would like to have access to some of these rooms that are unoccupied. Do you have a master key or something like that that we could get?
Yeah, we've got a master key here. We made it available to the FBI and the NYPD over the last couple of months. We're open until 6 o'clock this evening. If you wanted to stop by and pick it up.
All right. Yeah, we'll send somebody over to do that.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
If you can make sure they have some ID, just to obviously make sure.
Of course. Thank you very much. Yeah, we got to go pick up a key from them, but they've got a master key.
Okay.
That's okay. Leon can just take his car, right? Be there by 5:35 p.m. Get
Not
back
that
here
far. If you want, I'll just head on over there and grab it. And, you guys want to look in these rooms?
Well,
We'll
we'll have to wait for the key. We don't want to be breaking anything. We can talk to the neighbor though.
Go talk to the neighbor. I'll go get the key.
Okay, so you head on.
I'll get a
back.
taxi. Yeah, to take me to Art Life.
Easy enough. You have to go down to Lexington to get one because they're not really coming down the side streets that much.
All right, that's
But,
not
yeah,
a big deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
shortly you can be in a taxi.
I'll stick my head back into Abigail's and just let Martin and Charles know that everyone in the building are artists and that there's storage downstairs. She did own one and stuff like that, and that Hopper is going to get the key.
Yeah, didn't I? Wasn't one of the neighbors Roger Caron?
And I'll look that up on the lists of people that are there. Is that the name?
Directly neighbor to Abigail.
Yeah, he's the one directly across the hall. Is
Yeah,
he the one that saw?
No, the one that's across the hall is Thomas Manuel. The one that basically the bathrooms connect. That's Roger's room.
Yeah, he's just through this wall here.
Yeah, Roger's a famous author. I've got his entire Night Sea series. He's great science fiction.
Huh.
Well,
Have to check.
I'm knocking on the directly across neighbor,
Thomas
Manuel.
Thomas Manuel. But after that, I mean, we'll go talk while we're waiting for LeGrand to get back. We'll
Yeah.
go start talking to everybody in the building.
Okay.
So I guess starting with
Mhm.
Thomas Manuel.
Okay, so you're heading across there. Leon, are you heading? Whereabouts are you heading after you finish
I'll be
with?
going with Clark. So I'll just literally stick my head in and tell them, and then I'm gonna go stand next to Clark.
Gotcha. Okay, those of you that are, the two of you that are still in the room then, Martin and Charles, your choice, spot hidden or listen?
Let's see.
Hidden.
Oops, come on.
86. I'm cataloging away.
Oh, it's same either way. I'll do listen. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
so
no, fail, massive.
Oh, fair enough. In which case, then, Charles, you're looking around the room, presumably starting to catalogue, so taking plenty of photos, making notes of what's on what walls, and starting to draw up a bit of a plan of the place. Martin, doing pretty much the same thing. You're not too sure when this happened, but as you get back round to the door to the bathroom, it's shut. You're fairly sure the last time you looked at it, it was open.
Like, so we just notice it shut, or we look and it shuts?
No, you going around the room. When you last looked at it minutes ago,
Okay.
it was partially open after you'd been, like, when Beverly went in and out of the room to check the drugs cabinet.
Hey, Charlie, did you close the restroom door?
No, I've been by the closet and looking at look at this. I point to the leg.
Ah, yeah. But yeah, that door, I would swear it was left open.
I think Clark was in and out of there, but I don't remember if she closed it. I don't think so. I thought it was left open a crack.
When I went over to the center of the room to start taking pictures of the symbols, I'm starting to catalog them to see if there's any sort of pattern. I know it was open.
At that point, the toilet flushes.
Hello?
I knock on the door.
You knock.
I step to the other side of the door, so I'm not just next to Charles, but abreast.
And then I open the door.
Okay. You open the door up. It's pitch black in there because the light's been turned off.
Flashlight.
Yep. You quick scan around the room. You can see the water still twirling in the bottom of the basin. Someone flushed the toilet, but the room's empty.
Styles, you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, some of the stuff I've seen before, I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm gonna reach in and pull the light string.
Okay. Yep. Room illuminates.
Check behind the curtain. Look at the ceiling.
I'm not there, but did you say that it was a shared bathroom?
No, the bathrooms. There is a wall between them, but they all butt onto each other.
Ah, same wall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
there's nothing here.
go over and jiggle the handle, see if it flushes super easy. Maybe a truck drove past and.
You have to give it a bit of a firm push.
All right.
And I'm just in between, in the doorway. I'm like 1 foot in the bathroom, 1 foot in the main room, and I look both ways, checking out what the main room, if anything's in there.
Let's make sure this door stays open, like wide open.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of give Styles a glance, like shrug my shoulders, like kind of like not worried look, but like here we go, and go back to cataloging.
I prop the door, as Charles mentioned, open all the way. I give the door a little bit of a push. Is it flowing? Does it swing very easily, like a gentle breeze, or it would just settle closed, or does it seem like it would sort of stay open?
It would stay open. It's a pretty heavy door, especially with the amount of stuff that's been glued to it.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to close again, so I'll just put it all the way to the wall and go back to cataloging symbols.
Indeed. Can I have a sand check from both of you?
50.
Oh, I failed that too.
50 out of 80. Yeah, nailed it.
88 out of 80. I mean, 88 out of 50.
Okay, so that's just 1 point then for losing that one. So success, it's nothing. Again, it's just kind of this little bit of a feeling of unease, but
Yeah, creepy.
nothing sanity shattering yet. Okay, and across the corridor then, you're knocking on Thomas Manuel's door.
Yes.
Thump, thump, thump. There's no sound on the other side. There's no TV, no radio, nothing like that. But you do hear footsteps coming across to the door. You hear the sound of a latch being pulled back and a chain. The door opens about 3 inches, and this kind of eye pokes through the crack at you. Yeah?
Beverly Clark, FBI. We just asked you a couple of questions about your neighbor, Abigail Wright.
Oh, again? Yeah, sure. Door closes, you can hear the latch being moved, and then door opens fully. The guy inside, he's fairly, well, almost like Arthur Dent in appearance, that he's got a bathrobe, he's got sweatpants on and a t-shirt underneath it. He pulls it tight around him, basically redoing his, like the cord around him, and gestures with one arm. Please come on in.
Yes,
Take a seat.
Of course, he's horribly unprepared because he doesn't have a towel with him always.
Indeed.
But I will go in, take a seat.
There are a couple of sofas in here. They look fairly reasonably well kept, so it doesn't look as though they're not worn down and not secondhand furniture kind of thing. But looking around the room, the first kind of impression you get in here, this is incredibly austere. I mean, it's very soulless. The room almost reminds you of a cheap motel. That there's a bed propped up against the wall. Say there's a couple of sofas. There's a pot plant that you can see that's slightly, the soil slightly overflowing on the top of it. So it's kind of little bits of it scattered on the carpet. There's a kitchenette area off in one corner where you can see there's a couple of plates put to one side on a drying rack. There's nothing, well, apart from there's a high-end stereo that you can see that's being set up in one corner. There's little by way of personal possessions here. There's nothing that kind of makes this place feel like a home. It's very sterile and soulless. But he comes in and, well, shuts the door rather, and wanders over to one of the kind of the edge of the bed and sits down and says, "Yeah, what do you want to know about Laura?"
And just to verify, sir, I'm so sorry. You are Mr. Thomas Manuel?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. We are just looking into trying to ascertain the whereabouts of Abigail Lawrence Wright. We understand that you last saw her on May 31st. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Up until that time, did you notice any strange activity out of Abigail? Any change in her habits?
Well, she was always a kind of really a free spirit. Took to doing whatever caught her fancy, really. My guess is that she's just moved out. No, the Big Apple couldn't contain her, really. She had so much energy. She used to come in and out most of the time. Never had any problem with her. I think Roger had a problem with her a few kind of back end of last year when she had a kind of New Year's Eve party that got a little bit out of hand. But other than that, I've never had any problems with her. Nothing unusual. Kind of saw her moving some stuff up from downstairs on the last day I saw her. She's got one of the rooms downstairs where she keeps some of her stuff.
What was she moving from downstairs?
She was just bringing up like some of her painting materials, I think. I remember seeing she was carrying a bag full of stuff, some paints and brushes. I think some glue she was carrying up as well. Just some of the art supplies that she's got from a little place downstairs. I mean, I've got a similar. I use S2 downstairs, so I've got a similar kind of studio down there. I don't do work where I live. It's kind of cross contaminates, and I have to have a particular place to work. You see, and living and working in the same space, you go crazy doing that.
Right, I definitely understand that, sir. Now, Abigail, bring it? How many strange items? Is she a frequent shopper?
Well, I always call her Laura, so her middle name Laura. I never called her Abigail.
I noticed that. Is there a reason?
I just like the name Laura more than Abigail, and
All right.
that's she was happy with it, so I stuck with it.
All right. So did Laura, did you see her move any furniture out of her apartment? Bring anything into her apartment around the time when she left?
You can see he evidently thinks about this. No, can't say that I remember seeing her move anything out. I always assumed that there was going to be, if she'd moved out, that there would be some removal men turn up at some point and take the stuff away. I didn't notice her take anything big with her, assuming when she left. I mean, she could have left on the 31st. She could have left sometime after it. I don't know.
Did you ever hear any strange noises coming from her room, like maybe like her dismantling anything or throwing things out the window, possibly?
No. She apart from, like I say, she had the New Year's party back in December, January that kind of got a bit loud. Roger really wasn't. He's the next door along from Abigail. He wasn't too happy about the noise that got kicked up that night. So she was quiet as a mouse ever since after that.
You say noise? Was it music or?
She had friends around that she knew from the art club. Just they got a bit. You know what happens when a load of girls get together, and I don't know how many bottles of tequila they got through, but they must have got through quite a few, if you get what I mean.
I see. Did she have a boyfriend?
I think I vaguely remember something about she was seeing someone. I can't remember who though.
Do you have a description of what they might have looked like?
Oh, could every man. Very generic. Damn it! You can see he's wrapping his fingers. He's kind of wrapping his fingers on the edge of the bed, kind of tapping away. Oh, white guy, wore a suit, pinstripe suit.
Pinstripe suit, okay.
Some kind of salesman, I think.
Okay. Blonde, brunette.
I wore a hat most of the. I only saw him a couple of times. Didn't speak to him.
Did he come around often?
I'll say I only saw him a couple of times. So
when was the last time you can remember seeing him come around?
Oh boy, I think it would have been. Actually, yeah, I think maybe about a couple of days before the last time I saw her, so maybe the 29th.
What age would you sort of mark him in? Like a
older
age to Abigail?
Older than her. I think he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, pencil line moustache. That's another thing he had. Yeah.
Pencil line moustache. Okay. No tattoos or anything like that you could see?
Well, not that I could see, but I didn't ask him to strip.
Fair enough. Okay, so you see, look a bit like a salesman type.
Yeah, I think maybe. I don't know where I get the idea from, but maybe she mentioned it that that's what his business he was in. I just remember salesman comes to mind. That's all.
Salesman, and she didn't overhear any violent disagreements between the two.
Oh no, definitely no.
And she, and you're right. She. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I think the first time that he came around was in February. I think kind of mid-Feb.
Mm-hmm.
So she was very quiet every time I saw her after the whole New Year thing. So no, if there had been an argument, I would have heard it. And no, as far as I'm aware, they got on well together.
You said he wore a hat. Was it kind of what style of hat was that? A baseball cap or more like a trilby?
It got a rim around it. It wasn't a baseball cap. It was. I'm not too good on fashion styles.
Maybe like a 19 kind of gangster's hat, like a Al Capone type thing. Yeah. Okay.
Big wide brim.
Pinstripe suit, mustache. Okay.
And she was generally in good spirits. No depressive episodes.
Oh no, God, no. Like I say, she was a free spirit. She was full of energy and full of brightness and hope. Like I said, I think she would be the kind of person I wouldn't be surprised if she just picked up her stuff and left because she felt like it.
You mentioned an art club.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? The art club, is that connected with Art Life, who own the building?
Oh no. She had a sale down at the Mercury. It's on Franklin Street downtown.
Okay.
This was again sort of a little bit before, kind of around Halloween, I think, last year. She sold about 15 pieces there. Took about enough to take off most of the year to then kind of do more of her artwork. She basically fell in with a few people. I say fell in, it's not that they were a bad crew or anything like that. She made friends with a lot of people who went to the gallery. They called them an art club. I mean, some patrons, other artists, people that meet down in bars, down in Greenwich, that kind of thing. But yeah, just people that she knew through the gallery where she got her first break.
And now, have you seen the interior of her apartment anytime in the last few months?
Well, there's this little police tape thing that's kind of stopping it. No, I haven't been in.
Okay. Well, I believe that you've been very helpful. Thank you so much. I don't have it. Graves, do you have any other questions?
No, it's fine. If we think of anything else, we'll let you know.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you. In which case, he heads over to the door and basically opens the door up to allow you to leave. As you are going, you can give me a spot hidden roll.
Failing the spot hiddens today.
I got a regular pass.
Okay. In which case, it's nothing specific in the room, like that thing over there in the corner kind of specific. But it's just as you're leaving, you take another quick look around the room. Yeah, there's nothing, there's no books here. There's no printed paper. There's no newspapers. So it's really sparse. For someone who's, well, by what you've been told, is an artist, there's a distinct lack of art here. Maybe going to kind of gives justification to his statement. He said he doesn't like to work where he lives, but it just strikes you as being something a little odd that there's not even one book in the apartment.
Do I get does this apartment resemble anything like our green box?
But apart from the distinct lack of explosives and guns.
Yeah. No, but
no,
you know what I mean? Like a very sparse, apartment. Like it's not really looks like it's been furnished.
Now, the closest analogy is that it's a soulless hotel room.
Okay.
It doesn't have a green box vibe to it. It's definitely, motel, hotel.
Just before I step out, I kind of take it, and I was like, sorry, one last question for you there, Mr. Manuel.
Colombo.
How long have you been living here in the building?
Kind of almost does not a double take, but he thinks about it. Must be coming up on a couple of years now, I think.
A couple of years now. Do you like the place? Any?
Well, it's the main thing I like about here is it's a big old size apartment from what you can get in New York for your money these days, and the rates are really good. I mean, Art Life is all about promoting the arts, and the rates we get through here are subsidized quite heavily.
All the neighbors pretty quiet?
Well, yeah, so apart from that one incident, like I said, with Abigail, really quiet. Apart from the bitch upstairs, but yeah, I just try to keep away from her.
What was what was the lady's name?
His edge of his mouth curls up in a sneer. That'd be Miss Van Fitz, Michelle Van Fitz.
Is she the one with the dog?
Dog? No one owns a dog here.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. We must be mistaken.
We must be mistaken.
Must have heard it outside.
Yeah.
No pets. That's part of the agreement here.
And what exactly, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly do you pay for rent?
About, I normally have it just set up to go out on my bank account. I think it was about $8.50, something like that, per month.
Okay. Yeah.
We said one more question. We asked you a bunch. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Catch you later. And he gently closes the door.
Okay, I'm quickly pulling you to the other room. Like,
Mhm.
no, there was a dog in here.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a dog. So unless it's someone visiting someone with a dog, and also the $8.50. That's the exact number that someone was paying Abigail in rent.
Was it $8.50 or was it $7.50?
It was $8.50 on the receipt. It's $8.50.
Okay, we'll cut to downtown. Your taxi, Agent Shaw, parks up outside the offices for Art Life. It's a regular 3-story building. It looks like there's multiple offices here, so it's not just one that has Art Life written over the side of it. It's multiple offices. Art Life's on the 2nd floor.
Yeah. So I go in. I look at the suite number to see which one it is. All right.
Yeah.
I go up the
There's
stairs.
there's a buzzer that then you push, you're buzzed on through so you can go up.
Mhm.
And as you get to the 2nd floor, the door opens and a lady in her, looks to be early 50s, fairly nice, got a power suit, is there, opening the door. So you'd be, was it Agent?
Legrand.
Ah, perfect. She sort of gestures, mind if I see some? Ah, perfect, thank you. Right, please come on in.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you, the weather this time of year, it's kind of warm, a little muggy.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Especially when you get to go around sunset. Sometimes when they're steaming the sewers out there, it can get real muggy real quick.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
We would, as I said, we need the keys to the apartment so that we can continue our investigation.
Sure.
Poor girl's missing. We don't know where she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to the NYPD when they came round, and likewise your associates about a week ago. I think they came by just to do a quick pick up the keys and have a look around the place. It's a mystery, to say the least.
Do you recall by chance who the other agents were that came around last week?
She runs off a list of names, which
Okay.
a couple of them you might be familiar with as people who work at the New York office.
So that didn't sound fishy when she said it then.
No, Levinson is one of the names that comes up.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, Miss Levinson. Yes, she's quite a person. What can you tell? I was just curious. We weren't aware that it was an art studio. My family, I grew up in the art field. My family collected and sold various pieces of art. You might have heard of the. I probably haven't. It's been gone for a long time. I've been in the FBI for nearly 31 years. But I think that it's fantastic that you are taking care of these artists, letting them live all together in that building.
Well, yeah, she kind of tilts her head one way and the other. We can only go so far. I mean, it'd be nice
flaky.
If we help.
That's what you're about to tell me, is that they're all flaky. I'm not surprised.
Well, I don't know what's got into them. They've been a bit of a thorn in my side for the last couple of months, to be honest.
Oh, why is that?
Every single one of them stopped paying.
They stopped paying their rent.
Yeah, and we've sent reminders round. We've actually got to the point where if they don't pay up in the next couple of weeks, we're forwarding it onto a debt collection agency, and we're going to have to start evicting.
When was the last time you were paid?
March. Yeah.
That's interesting. And you haven't received anything from any of them?
No, none of them. I would say with Abigail having disappeared. Obviously, we're not gonna chase her for anything. But no, but the other tenants, the other 5 that are in there, doing a quick count up actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. The other 4 rather that are there. Yeah, they all stopped paying about the same time. They paid March, but then nothing since then. And like I say, reminder, final notice. And now, if they don't get their act together, then 2 weeks from now they're going to be out on their ears.
That's very distressing. Also, we noticed that there are some rooms down in the basement. Are those occupied, or are they
Oh no, they're purely storage.
just storage rooms?
Yeah, we had an agreement set with Miss Wright and Mr. Manuel, I believe he was the room across from her, to say that they were allowed to use the storage rooms as their own studios. I mean, some of the others, we've got a couple of writers there. They just have word processors or typewriters or whatever they want to bang away on in their own rooms. But some of them requested additional space to conduct their own art. Mm-hmm.
And is there, how much additional space is there? You've got
just the 4 rooms down there.
Just the 4 rooms down there. Is there's not by chance a sub basement?
Not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of. We had to do a fair bit of renovation on the place, admittedly, when we brought the place a good while ago. But no, it's just a single basement as far as I'm aware.
4. Some of these old buildings, New York is practically built on one city after another underneath it. Some people say it goes down for miles down there under the ground.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I've got the keys, and you've got my agency. If you need to copy down the information on my card here, so that well, here I've probably got a business card that's got my information on it.
Yeah, you'll definitely have a business card.
And we will get these back to you as soon as we're done with our investigation. Might take a few days, if that's all right.
No, that's fine. Just check in every so often to make sure to let me know. But yeah, I'm fine with you keeping them. I don't need to have them until 2 weeks from now when I hand it over to the bailiffs getting their asses thrown out onto the street.
Well, if we talk to any of the tenants, we'll bring that up.
Yeah. Oh, good luck. We've tried. They ignore phone calls. They ignore letters. Knock yourself out.
Well, we're FBI. We can scare them. A little bit of intimidation goes a long way.
She smiles and definitely nods approvingly. I like your style.
Well, thank you very much, Miss LaChance. And I head on out, and I notice the little bagel place across the street. So I pick up a bag of bagels and some coffee, and I head on back.
Gotcha.
For everybody.
There is actually, because you would have gone past it, there are a few local stores which around the building, around the McAllister building, that you would have noticed. There's like Manny's Delicatessen, so there is actually quite a nice local place. So it could even be even warmer when you bring it back. Yeah. Destroyer Video with racks of VHS tapes in there, and the Garrett Laundrette, which explains why there isn't any overt laundry facility in the building.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. Thank you very much. Good night. And or good afternoon. Good morning. Some morning, probably. And I head on back.
Okay. And we'll say then by the time you've been and come back, that would kind of correlate with everyone else having done what they've done in the building so far. So you arrive as Beverly and Charles are finishing up with the delightful Thomas.
Oh, hey, I got bagels, and I got cream cheese and coffee for everyone.
Oh, that's great. We have just a little bit of distressing information.
Oh, really? Okay, well, let's all go back into the room. Are they still in there?
Yeah, they're
cataloging.
Yeah.
They're going to be cataloging for a while. Hey, did the guy mention that he hasn't paid his rent?
No.
He said apparently nobody's paid their rent since March.
Well, he just told us that the rent is $850 a month.
Well, we saw that with
automatically goes out of his account.
Yep. He said the people said they're about ready to evict all these people because they're not paying their rent.
Also, by the way, guess what? Dogs aren't allowed in the building, so no one has a dog.
No, maybe it was out a window or something that we heard it. Who knows?
I'm pretty
We
sure.
did hear
heard it
somebody
go.
going up the stairs, though. Sounded like a
Yeah,
dog.
No, it sounded like a dog was going up.
with the person. Yeah.
Well, I have the keys. She says there are only 4 rooms in the basement.
Right, we saw that.
But where are the other S's?
S10. Yeah.
Look,
Now, it's possible, as I said to her, but she didn't know, that there could be a sub-basement. And maybe our artist friends have found their way into the sub-basement. There could be a sub-basement.
and now
a
Abigail is charging rent for them and is putting the receipts on the. Look, let's talk in here.
Artists. I'll tell you, I've been in this business my whole life. A lot of them are such flakes.
Mm.
But they're also starving. They're, they don't like, people buying art. Who buys art?
Yeah. Well, apparently the guy just up the way here is an author. Martin's a fan. Hey, Martin.
Who?
Hey.
Hey, I got bagels and cream cheese.
You guys startled me.
No, sorry about that, Charlie. I was just telling Hopper that that artist you like lives next door, Martin.
Oh yeah, Roger Carrin. He's a big time author. He wrote the Night Sea series. It's really
Is that,
good.
Sci-fi?
Yeah, sci-fi. It's really pretty good.
Never read him. Just read the name.
Oh, is that coffee? I'm a little on edge.
Got coffee. There's cream and sugar. Well, it's half and half. Cream
No,
and
what?
sugar.
You're pretty jumpy, Charles. What's up?
I don't know. The bathroom door was closed on its own, and then as Styles and myself were standing outside the door, I opened the door. The toilet flushed on its own. I know, whatever. It's a little weird, but then we went in to investigate, and it takes a good amount of pressure to flush that. And we both know the door was open. I think I'm just a little tired.
Well, there's no dogs in the building either. Nobody
you
has
check-
any pets.
Did you check the upper story?
We're going to go there next.
Back of the toilet?
after
No,
we-
the back of the toilet.
No, I didn't actually, and then I make a beeline with my cup for the
Yeah.
bathroom. Place it
I
on
used
the
to live in
sink.
an old building, and the toilet every once in a while would flush. We said it was a ghost taking a poop.
I take a
was
quick
just
glance.
Faulty mechanism.
Is the door still open?
The door is how you left it.
But you said the door was closed. Well, let's not get jumpy here. We're here because we believe there are some things in fiddling around.
So Charles is going into the toilet again, yeah?
Yes, I wanted to just lift the top off of the tank and look inside there.
Okay, yeah. It looks like it's been fairly well maintained. There's nothing there that nothing that immediately sticks out of the ordinary. But this isn't a spot hidden roll because it's quite blatantly in sight. As you're going over to put the lid back on the cistern, back on the tank on the back, something's floating in the water in the bowl.
I lay the tank on the toilet seat and I look in.
Looks like a little cinnamon stick.
Put on a glove, reach in and grab it out.
What's that you got?
Cinnamon stick.
The hell?
That definitely was not there when you last looked.
Yeah.
So did you say it was in the top or is in the actual bowl?
Floating in the bowl.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
so
floating
it's
in the bowl. I thought you meant floating in the tank.
And you
No,
guys
not in the tank. So
flushed.
Yeah, and yeah, no one came in here. It's just been Charlie. It's just been you and I until they just walked in.
And we watched that bowl flush before.
Yeah,
There
you
was
saw water
nothing in
spinning.
there.
Something is very wrong here.
I take out a plastic bag.
We should. So if the artists have suddenly stopped paying rent when they've been very diligent about it, I wonder if any of their other habits have changed. If anybody's seen them at like a laundromat or a
Well,
restaurant.
did you see that guy's did you see that
laundromat's
guy's
right down the
apartment?
street.
Yeah, let's go.
That guy's apartment. There's no books. There's no art. God, it looks like a crappy motel
Okay.
room.
So, but we don't know if that's his normal or not.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a little poltergeisty, eh?
Let's
Yeah.
check next door. Let's check
Oh,
Karen's place.
Okay, we can start asking everybody, but I want to check to see if these people have been seen outside of this building.
Well, the laundromat's right next door,
Okay,
so
I'm gonna go over there to ask.
And let's
All right,
ask them
Captain.
about their rent. Like, bring it up to their attention that it hasn't.
He says he pays it.
Well, let's let him know it's not been paid and see if we could see if he has a tell, if he's lying to us.
All right, someone go.
I'm going to the
Beverly's going to
laundromat.
go to the laundromat. Let's go. While he's doing that, she's doing that. Sorry. Let's go and check out Abigail's storage room, and then when he gets back, we can talk to the other
all right, well,
inhabitants.
we can go to that.
Sounds-
We don't want to necessarily give anybody any hints that we're on to them, but what if it's something else? Didn't he say that his money was transferred electronically to the?
He said automatically. It just goes out of
Automatically?
his account. Yeah.
Yeah. So what if somebody's fiddled with their computer system, and instead of it going to them, it's going to somebody else?
Right.
Somebody's embezzling the money.
Yeah, like the bank is like getting all the money that's coming through that and taking. Yeah, that's possible.
The bank is just doing what they do. They transfer the money, but it's not transferring to that account anymore. It's Trevor. And one more little stupid theory that just crossed my mind. You said the guy's apartment was almost empty.
Yeah.
Abigail's apartment, other than the incredible garbage, is almost empty. What if they found more rooms in the sub-basement that the apartment doesn't know about, and they're moving in?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, God. I don't know why I forgot this as well. Apparently, Abigail, who the guy across the street calls Laura, she had a boyfriend supposedly.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Guy wearing a white guy with a pinstripe suit, pencil mustache, wore the gangster hat of some kind. Looks like he dressed like he was out of a old black and white gangster film or something.
Huh.
Interesting.
And apparently, the last time he was seen here was a couple of days before Abigail went missing, which means is more than likely he saw the apartment.
Could it have been a costume or something?
Well, no, well, from what he said, he came around a few times and he was wearing the same thing. So, unless there's a special restaurant around here with a bunch of people dressed up like they out of some old James Cagney film, I don't think so.
Yeah, and a
Almost out of
boyfriend.
time.
Usually boyfriends are not wearing suits and hats. Not in this day and age.
Matches up with some of the time frame of some of this junk here glued everywhere in this room.
Yeah.
If they found rooms down below that the building doesn't know about, what if those rooms were stocked with all this shit from previous time
And
periods?
they're just moving all, yeah.
And they're just
Yeah,
moving
why-
the shit out of their.
Well, then why glue it to the wall?
Oh, that doesn't make any sense at all. She is a freaking artist.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go to the basement again and see if there's some covered up
Well, let's
staircase going farther down.
yeah, let's do a really good search, because there could be a panel in the wall that opens up and there's another staircase or something. It'll be
And
kind of
also-
obvious once you know what you're looking for.
Wouldn't city records have original blueprints? I mean,
Absolutely.
to date
Yeah.
back, this building might be, from the turn of the century.
Yeah. And there used to be networks of railroad cars,
Yeah.
like three stories down, that they used to transport stuff around. So some of these buildings have a basement, a sub basement, a sub basement, a sub basement. So who knows?
So we'll wait till Beverly gets back, and then we'll.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to have my bagel.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you guys are waiting for me to get back when he decides to start trying to open up.
No, we're gonna wait for you. We're gonna have our bagels. Good God, we want our coffee and our bagels and our.
With my luck, I'm waiting for you. No solo me.
With your luck, I would prefer that the whole building was sucked into some nightmare dimension while I was not in it. But
They're all. What fun would that be?
You head then down, literally just not down the street, but pretty much next door to Manny's Delicatessen. Through a front door, it's got a glass plate in front. Plenty of places to sit. There's a few people sat in here munching away on sandwiches, subs, and other such stuff. Typical New York fare. There's a man behind a glass counter that you see with various meats on display and cheeses and other breads and such. So again, typical fare. Just smiles as you come in. Says, welcome to Manny's. Anything can get for you?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions to ask you. I'm Special Agent Beverly Clark with the FBI. Just looking into a disappearance in the adjacent building.
Oh,
wondering
I
if you...
remember the NYPD came round. That's a little while ago. They still haven't found the girl?
No, Abigail, right?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Was she a regular here at all?
Well, yeah, up until a little while ago, yeah. Obviously, she went missing back. Was it back in June? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't. Well, she used to come in pretty regularly, but I haven't seen. Well, I haven't seen any of the crew from the McAllister place come in since March.
Really, since March. How frequently did they come in before then?
Oh, it depends. I mean, Abigail was in at least once a week, mostly more than that. She used to be at a good time. She would have about. I think she got a big art sale back in sometime back end of last year. She was in. I think she was riding the wave of having all the spare cash, and she was coming in about 3 times a week. She got a little bit slower, but she always used to come in at least once a week. The others kind of hit and miss. That writer woman. Well, I'm not disappointed she hasn't come back. She's a bitch. But the other couple of the others was them Louis and Tommy. Yeah, they were good guys. They used to come in again. Yeah, about once a week, once every other week.
Sorry, the writer. Are you talking about Michelle?
Yeah, the bitch. Yeah.
You know, you're the second person I've heard refer to her as such. What makes her so unbearable?
Her. Honestly, I can picture her. If you were to look up the definition of someone with no friends in a dictionary, you'd find her face. She is just everything about that woman just grates. Ugh. I can tell you haven't met her yet, have you? I wouldn't. I would be able to tell if you had met her.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
No worries. Oh, yeah. You're gonna as you're heading out. He goes, "Oh yeah, actually, you probably would get on better with most of them. You ain't got a dick. You'll be fine." Anyway, you want a good sub? Do good rates? Call it an FBI discount.
Thank you so much. Going to head over to the laundromat next.
Okay. Without going through the nuts and bolts of each encounter, you're getting pretty much the same kind of story. The laundromat's more easy to pin down because they used to come in very regularly. Everyone in the building used to come in at least once a week. And in fact, the lady that you talk to there, who runs the laundromat, confirms that the very last time any of them came by was the 12th of March.
What's their opinion of Michelle?
They also don't have anything particularly nice to say about her. They don't outright call her a bitch, but they say that she's very much an acquired taste, and it's not a taste of mine.
Gotcha. Other local business, you said the video store?
Yep.
Same story?
Yep. In fact, they give it a little bit more detail. The very last thing to happen, this was the 11th of March, was that Thomas Manuel came in to pick up a bit of audiovisual equipment that he'd ordered. Pretty much just dropped a whole load of notes on the desk and then left with his recording equipment, specifically a microphone with about 20 meters of cable with it.
And that was Thomas?
Yep, Thomas Manuel. Yep, the whole thing, the whole setup he brought loads and loads of cassette tapes. prior to that, and now then he picked up this long cable microphone. He dropped easily in cash about 3 times what the thing was worth. He just literally just dropped a whole load of money, opened his wallet, just emptied the contents onto the counter, and then walked away carrying his bag full of stuff.
Oh, but thank you.
Mhm.
I guess I will join my associates in the lovely apartment building here.
Yep, back in McAllister.
Yeah.
Munch, munch, slurp, slurp, drinky, drinky.
Well, then my ex-wife says that she wants me to get out, but whatever.
Would you
Again?
just shut
You
up?
know how that
Would
goes.
you just shut up about Lorianne for like 2 seconds, Hopper? I
Um,
learned something.
Oh, you learned some things.
Look, the last time any of these local stores have seen any of them was a laundromat on March 12th.
March 12th. There's
They
the
were
March
regular-
again.
Constant regulars up until then. And even stranger, Thomas, before went recluse, purchased a ton of cassette tapes, a microphone, and 20 meters of cable.
65 feet.
That's
Jesus.
a lot.
That might make the
And-
basement. Go.
And he just emptied his wallet onto the counter, overpaying for all of it, and left without getting any change or receipt.
Overpaying.
did-
That means he had
yeah.
a bank. And yet he's not paying his rent?
And he's
But
an
he's-
artist. Yeah.
It's like they
Well,
were.
Let's.
He just didn't, and it's not even that he overpaid. It's just that he just immediately scooped everything up and left.
Maybe we should have a look at his locker down his room downstairs as well. His
Let's-
art room.
Let's hit the basement right now.
Yeah.
I'm curious as hell.
There is, everyone I've talked to has a very low opinion of a tenant upstairs, Michelle
Oh yeah.
and Fitz.
Yeah. Van Fitz.
Thomas is apparently isn't the only one that.
Can't wait.
You want me to
meet
go
her.
talk to her? I got a way with people.
I bet you
Okay.
her apartment.
Me and Hopper will go talk to Michelle. You guys go check out the basement.
Actually, I kind of want to see the basement, so
Okay,
I really want to see. We'll talk to the woman later.
Okay.
I want to find a secret room leading down into
Okay,
the.
you go find your undocumented sub basement. I'm gonna go talk to Michelle.
Yeah, I think Michelle's apartment and Karen's apartment are going to look similar. I bet you they'll look barren.
Wait, whoa. We waited for you before we did the basement, and now you're not going to go to the basement.
I
with
never
us?
said to wait for me to go into the basement.
I'll
What a
go
team
with
we
the
all
basement.
are.
Yeah,
All
it's basement.
I never said wait.
All right, whatever. Let's just do what we need to do. Charles, what are you up to?
Charles, get that cinnamon stick
Basement.
out of your coffee.
Yeah, why are you stirring your coffee with your toilet stick?
And
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's some flavor.
Protein.
I'm going to the basement with the whoever's going
Like
down.
when
Okay,
the
so
universe gifts you
Beverly
a
is
cinnamon
by
stick-
herself.
What are you gonna go talk to that bitch upstairs?
Yes.
Is there a vent or anything inside the bathroom?
yeah, there will be.
Is there any way anybody could get in and out of the bathroom without coming through the door? I mean, even a crazy way. Climbing through a vent.
It'd
The
have to be
vent
like
is
a contortion.
Yeah, the vent is too small for anyone to climb through it.
Okay, it was just a weird thought all of a sudden.
Oh, I mean, speaking of weird thoughts, I mean, if you're gonna start checking vents, start checking for microphones.
Yeah, what would you need that for? Unless you were listening to something that was going on.
Yeah, we didn't even do a sweep when we got in
Well,
here.
what was the point of doing it?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll check downstairs. You go talk to your friend upstairs.
If only we had brought the Geiger counter. Anyway.
Okay. I'll ask for a spot hidden roll for everyone as they leave the apartment, because now that you've got a particular piece of information, it might make more sense.
Ooh, that's a good pass.
Got a
That is
29.
a hard pass.
I'm going to spend a point of luck to get an extreme pass.
Mine is a hard pass.
Fail.
Okay. So one person's got the magic word extreme.
Yes.
Show
Those
off.
of you that got a regular pass will notice that as you're leaving. So in fact, this is actually probably where Beverly's extreme comes in. That let's say Hopper's heading out first, thinking of heading down to the doors that will then head down to the staircase that then goes down to the basement. You stop in the doorway and notice that maybe it's just because the carpet and the in the hallway is a bit old, it's a bit puckered in places, but it's puckered in such a way that there's a ridge which goes directly across towards Thomas's apartment.
It's like the whole thing is rocked right in one straight line.
Yeah, that would be big enough to get a cable through it. So maybe if there was, in fact, given where the other two had seen that the fact he'd got his audio equipment set up, 20 meters or 20 yards, whichever, of cabling would be able to stretch from the recording deck across his room, across the corridor, and into Abigail's room.
Okay.
So you're noticing that and holding up the doorway. Beverly kind of stood there going, oh, for heaven's sake, get out my way, just looks around, and you see something else on the wall amongst all the paperwork that kind of stands out to you as being a bit odd. It's not handwritten. It seems to be also one of the neater pieces of paper, so it's not crumpled up. But it looks, at least it looks like it's typed, so it's been done on an old typewriter. It looks a little like this.
See, Act 1, Scene 5. The smoking lounge, a large parlor on the 4th floor. In the room are the dog, Thomas, and Michelle. Enter Mark Rourke. Mark, Abigail is gone. She moved upstairs today. Thomas and Mark, I missed the kid. Michelle, her dad, that pig, came around. She doesn't like you, Mark. No one likes you. Anyway, she ran off with that salesman. Everyone knows it. Mark, fuck you. Thomas, come on, guys. Come on. The dog barks. Someone is heard coming up the steps, a loud racket reverberating up and down the staircase. Mark, who is that? Everyone stops to listen. Michelle, who could be down there? Who is that? Mark steps to the doorway and leans to look down the stairs. Mark, hello? Hello? Enter FBI agents.
As the others are looking down at the carpet, you hear a bark of a dog from somewhere upstairs, and then a thud, 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 as a bouncing ball bounces down the staircase from upstairs and rolls into the corridor. It does a 90-degree turn and just rolls down the corridor and stops right in front of you.
Has anybody seen It by Stephen King?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Did Beverly read that out to us?
Yeah, I heard her.
I was also reading it for our listeners that listen audio only.
No, but I was just making sure that she hadn't just seen it, or if she,
Yeah.
I was gonna see it and just fold it in my pocket, not tell anybody. Casually stroll out of here, take a cab home, have a nice bottle of Chardonnay.
That's extremely disturbing, because are we the agents?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because there was a dog barking.
So can I actually check to see if there is a cable?
Yeah. Where does it go? Let's follow it.
If you have a look under there, the cable's not there now, but you can see there is definitely drag marks, as something has been fed through this regularly.
Okay, all right, shit.
As you get down low enough to have a look at this, sniffing, you can smell dog, and that
Guys.
ball has what looks to be almost like saliva on it.
Guys, it smells like dog, and there's
Right.
drool all over the ball.
Hey,
I think we
Martin,
can-
does your author friend, or not your author friend, this author of yours, does he write plays?
Not that I'm aware of. I think most of my, what I have is just his novels. Good sci-fi novels.
I have a history with plays, and it's not good. Didn't you say that Michelle, that bitch, is apparently a writer?
I didn't say that. Somebody might have. Wrote them.
Does Mark the name Mark Roke? Is that another person that lives here?
No, that is the first time you have heard that name.
And apparently Abigail left him.
And no one likes him.
For the salesman.
And the bitch lives upstairs, and maybe she has a dog, and she doesn't tell anybody she's got a dog.
I would like that very
but the writing
much to be true.
That doesn't mean that's I think our first little bit of preternatural shit.
Okay.
That in the toilet and the cinnamon stick that you're still stirring your coffee with. Jesus, Charles.
Okay, we don't want to tip off to Manuel that we know he's got the recording equipment, and he's obviously been putting it through into Abigail's room.
What he might have recorded could be very telling of what's going on here.
What do you want to do? Kick his door in?
Maybe.
You don't think that it's rucked up because he just pulled the cord back through. If he was listening to us, we're compromised.
Mm.
Does he have a storage unit downstairs?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Let's go there right now.
Not all of us should go down though. I think we need to keep watch and make sure that someone's not. So me and Hopper will go down and check the basement. You, Beverly, you wanted to still go talk to Michelle, and I don't know, man.
Why don't Leon? Why don't you and Charles go downstairs? I'm gonna have another look at this room and see if I find any more.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna go upstairs to Michelle.
Martin, why don't you go with Beverly, and me and Charlie will
go
down.
I'll
check out the
I'll
basement.
be Beverly. If you don't mind.
I need to contemplate this mess.
Yell if you need us, Hopper.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, we'll do one more scene before we call it a night. We'll go for downstairs. So, Leon and who else is going down to the basement?
Myself.
So, Leon and Charles. You head down presumably with the master key to be able to get into to S2. Well, in fact, if that is the room you're going to, because that is the one that Thomas said that Thomas had taken that room and Abigail had S1. Which one do you want to go to?
The guys.
We're gonna go check the guys first.
Okay, so S2. Okay, you open it up. Door swings open. It's a fairly heavy door, a bit like the ones upstairs. It's pitch black in there. I mean, there's a little bit of light. The overhead lights here, almost like spotlights going down. You can see going down the corridor. They only illuminate the room a little bit. You can see it's a concrete floor going in there.
There's you got a torch, Charles?
Yes. I turn on my flashlight.
Okay, flick. The first thing you see is white directly in front of you. Around the corner, almost like forming a horseshoe shape or a semicircle in the middle of the room, are a series of easels that have been set up, and they've just got blank canvases on them. At least they look blank on very quick cursory examination. There is actually something very fine written in the corner of each one. Looks like like an artist would sign their name using painting with a brush, and it's very flowing script. With a very fine brush, there has been something written in the corner of each one. And then stacked away in the corner, there's another set of tape machines, so cassette players, and on a shelf above them, rows of cassette tapes that have all been marked up with dates on them. The dates all start on the 1st of June.
1st of June, so Abigail went missing.
Mm-hmm. And they have been every day since then.
Can I find a light switch?
Yeah, there's a light switch next to the door. Flicking that, there's the the series of easels, you realise there's lights that have been positioned above each one. So as you turn them on, each one is illuminated by effectively a spotlight above them.
What does the signature say?
My great work. And then number 1 on the first easel, number 2 on the second, 3, and so on. There are 8 easels in total.
Anything else in the room? Painting supplies or?
Nothing. Apart from the cassette tape in the corner and the tapes above them.
Let's have a quick look at Abigail's. Yeah. So we'll kind of leave the door open and the lights on and there, but then we'll go check out Abigail's. We might actually, while we're down here, we might just check each one. Might as well.
Gotcha. Okay, you open up the second. You open up S1 then. It's a mess. When you open it up, this is where it looks like some of her furniture ended up. That there is some of there's what looks like a bed that's been taken apart and stacked in one corner. There is some more art supplies down there, paints, and the weird thing, the whole floor is covered in confetti.
Is there a smell to the room?
Faint perfume, maybe stale alcohol.
What the heck? We're going to have to catalog all this crap as well, Charlie.
Yeah, I think we should pop one of those tapes in at the very least.
Yeah, give me the key. You start listening. I'm going to check the other two rooms, see if I can find maybe Hopper was talking about a sub basement, so I'm going to see if I can find something like that.
What? Can you describe that smell one more time? I'm sorry.
There's a perfumey type smell, but also maybe the smell of like stale alcohol, like champagne that's lost its fizz.
All right.
Okay, in which case then, as you head back, because you're going to have a listen to some of the tapes then. Correct. After this. If this was a film, this would be where we would be kind of jumping between yourself and Hopper upstairs as he's standing there, kind of trying to take in the atmosphere of the room, looking around him. Charles hears evidently the sound of the microphone being fed under a carpet and then being laid on the floor, snap, 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 door closing, snap, snap, tap, tap, tap of feet across a carpeted floor, and then door shutting. There's long patches of nothing. You end up having to then scrub through the tape trying to find something. And the sounds of the street outside, sounds of maybe people moving in the corridor. Then the sound of laughter, the sound of merriment, the sound of a party, sound of glasses chinking. And it sounds like, yeah, there are people. You may be in the next apartment over because it's muffled, but you can definitely hear there is some kind of party going on. And then it just dies away into nothingness. As Hopper upstairs again thinks, is there someone next door in that unoccupied room? Because I swear I can hear something. And as you turn and look towards that wall that would lead into the next apartment, just a female voice almost whispering over your shoulder just says, "It's time to unmask. We've all laid aside disguise but you." And you are in an empty room. Can you give me a sound check?
D6. That is not a pass.
Okay. Just the 1 point then. As you look around, you're definitely in an empty room. Apart from that, there is a party mask discarded on the floor at your feet. White, featureless, made of porcelain. And there we will leave it for tonight.
Oh. Whoa.
Getting creepy.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Zane Fleming, Jason Melanchok, Stuart Lively, and myself, with Matthew Sanderson as the keeper of the secrets. We usually play 4 times a week and post on YouTube within a couple of days of each episode. We also post the audio versions on iTunes and Podbean. Just so that you know, we don't monetize our shows. The only shows that have ads are because we occasionally use copyrighted music. The music owners get the cash, we don't. Our costs are almost entirely covered by our patrons. What's not covered comes out of our own pockets. By pledging just a couple of dollars a month, you are directly helping us defray costs and improve our show. So, if you enjoy our show and you'd like to become one of our supporters, please visit our Patreon account. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.